Extreme Collectibles here, a little bit out of practice. It's been a week and a half since I filmed a review, so bear with me. But while you're bearing with me, first thing, if you could really do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't, hit that little bell so you know whenever a new piece comes out. And today we're going to look at this guy, and all I have to say is, wow. Extreme Collectibles here with Prime 1's 1/3 scale Batman Flashpoint Arkham Knight statue. Exclusive. Whew. Lot to remember. Especially this early in the morning. It's like 6 a.m. on Sunday. This one was made by Prime 1, as I said. The exclusive version has 350. The collector's edition has 500. The difference between the two is a portrait swap out, which we're going to talk about in a second. And there's so much going on with this piece. I was really on the fence about him for the longest time, and really I could only find one video of him online from Earth's Finest Statues, a good friend of mine. Check out his site or his YouTube channel if you haven't. And I am just majorly impressed. So this is from the Arkham Knight line, and this is actually not, it is Batman, but it's not Bruce Wayne. It's Thomas Wayne. It's his father. It's a little bit of variation where he kind of took the reins as Batman, and he's not a he is a vigilante by all means, but he kills people and uses guns. So a little bit more harsher take on Batman, and this statue is so cool. I'm just really excited, not like that excited, but wow, that's all I have to say. So first thing with this guy, the base is one piece. Batman minus his accessories, arms, head, and cape are another piece. The cape is mixed media, and originally when I put him together, I was not going to display him with the cape, but because he looked really cool, but I was like, let's just try it, and I think he looks even more cool with the cape, so very, very neat. With him, switch outs are kind of the key. He has a ton going on, so let's jump into that. So first, you can switch out his arms where both arms are holding pistols facing out. And kind of along with that, you can put his holsters on the side as the empty holsters like you see right here. Or you can do holsters with guns in them in case you're going to display his non-gun options. And his non-gun options right here, one is for his left hand, kind of a closed fist pointing down. And then the right hand is a giant ass sword. Then the other switch outs, here's his collector's edition head. Closed mouth. Still a little grimacing. And then here's the exclusive. This to me is an exclusive or fail, because this really adds to the statue. It kind of shows what a badass he is, how mean. And I actually missed out on this on Sideshow, and then Prime 1 started their economy shipping, so I jumped on board. Shipping was $39. $39 for this, which just blows my mind. And I received it in a few weeks. So, really excited I got the piece. Cost was $969 plus $39 shipping, and I didn't have to pay any custom taxes or anything like that. I don't know if it's Prime 1's new shipping, and I don't know when this will air. But very excited I got him, because he's just wow. I'm really excited. Few issues I had in putting him together. First of all, there's a little bit of a gap on his arm, his left arm, as you see right here. And then second, his cape is a bitch to put on. So I misspoke earlier, his head is another piece, then kind of his collar is another piece that you have to stick the cape under and kind of press down as hard as you can. Make sure you get it in there just right. That's what she said. So, and then also the sword plugs in backwards right up here. So kind of a little bit different take on it. And the cape, it is posable on the sides and in the bottom. There is a wire in there. I'm horrible at posing capes. I've said that before, so I just kind of let it hang. That's not what she would have said. That's what he would have said. But let's just kind of jump into the concept. So, as I said, this is Thomas Wayne, and he's a ruthless Batman. He kills villains. He holds no mercy, and he's just a badass in this universe. And here he is, kind of on a traditional Batman, you know, gargoyle type top building, looking off. And the way I have him posed, you know, he's kind of standing stoic. It's a decent museum pose, but he's ready to kick some ass. He has the sword in the right hand, and it's a badass big fucking sword. It's really cool. And then his gun in the other hand, and I also probably will switch this one out often with both of his guns sticking out because it looks really good. And like I said, the exclusive version is just a fantastic portrait. Not only the paint and sculpt, which we're going to talk about, but just I love the expression. He's a very scary looking bat, which I think that's a great take on Batman. I like kind of some of the comic versions of Bat where he's a little nicer, but I also like the dark type of Batman as well, which he fits really into it. So I think they did an awesome job. The design, like I said, the cape's a little bit of an issue. There's a little bit of a seam line. The sword, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. There's not really a place it goes to in the bottom here, so it kind of hangs up a little bit, which I could move it around, but I'll figure that out later. So I wish there was almost a holder, or maybe if they gashed the side of this and had a place they could put it in. Maybe I'm putting it in the wrong way. That's what she said. I guess that would have been he said. I'll figure that out later. For paint and sculpt, I switched out the sword for the arm simply because I want you guys to see how badass this looks with him holding two guns. I still will review the sword, and I'll review both holsters, both with gun and without. But paint and sculpt, let's just start at the bottom here on the building base. It's kind of your typical Prime 1 Batman base. So there's some very good about it, some very bad. Let's start off with these gargoyle heads, or whatever they are, bat type. First of all, I really like the concept of them. They're really cool. They're not just a normal bird or gargoyle or bat head. It almost looks like a dragon, to be honest with you, with spikes coming out. So I like the concept. The sculpt is okay. It doesn't blow my mind. And the texture and the painting on them doesn't look like an aged building. It looks more plasticky, in my opinion, but it doesn't look horrible. And then moving on to the concrete bricks on the side, they look good. They did a good job. There's a lot of realism there. There's some grainy texture on it, and then they used a few different colors to show the age and the wear, and then even some piping on the side that looks really old. And again, they really mixed up some colors in there, and I think that's one of the problems, is that looks so old where the concrete of the building does not. And then they have some vines growing up the side, which they look okay. They don't look amazing. One really weird thing is here, there's kind of one missing, and I don't know if there's any significance to that, a concrete block missing. It'd be really cool if it was. And on the back, just like the rest of the Arkham Knight line, it has the bat symbol in gold. Kind of neat. And then the bottom where Batman's standing on, very similar to a lot of the other bases, kind of this concrete cracked texture with the similar colors. One thing I do like is on the back of this base, it kind of looks like it's broken. So he broke that part of the building, and now he's standing on the front of it. Very neat. Moving on to Batman, and this is where it really kicks ass, both on the paint and the sculpt. I'm a big fan. Actually, let's start with this cape. So plain black cape, almost has this leather glove type look to it, which I kind of like on this character. Looks good, and again, you can pose it in a way. There's a little bit of design in it, which I do like. And now moving on to his boots. These look like real freaking boots, man. Awesome job on the texture, on the sculpt. I like the layering on it. I like the colors. I like the stitching. I like the laces. It just looks excellent. Looks really good. Very impressed. And then I want to move on to kind of his pants. Then we'll talk about the accessories on his pants. But you're looking here. Great sculpt. I love the texture they put on it. They did a great job on the many different folds. Almost looks like the pants are too big for him. Or it actually looks very real if you're going to put all these straps throughout it. And there's a few places where there's tears and rips and the discoloring, and I like the color they used of that gray and black mixed in together, and the seams running up the sides just really make it pop. And then on his pants, so first he has these knee pads on the bottom that have straps that look real. They look like real mixed media. They're sculpted. There's some stitching in the leathering. The buckles look really good. And then his knee pads on the front has this kind of rubber looking center like a knee pad would, and then metal all around the sides, and they added some really cool paint to really make it worn, and yeah, it's just neat. And then the same straps go to his holster, or same straps, not same straps, but he has different straps that hold on his holster. They're not as good as the knee pad straps, but they're very good. Again, the stitching, it's that red color that matches his belt and part of his bat symbol, which we're going to look at. The metal clasps look real. And then his holsters here, homemade holsters stitched together. This one is without the gun. Looks really cool. I love the wear and tear and the weathering, because you wouldn't wash the holster, and it's kind of that age-old leather look it would have. And then the butt of the gun looks fantastic. Looks like a real gun. I like the material they used on it, the texture here on the switch out one. Then moving on to his utility belt, that same kind of leather type red pouches with black inlaid on them. Looks really neat. They look like real leather, all sculpted other than the cape. And then his middle buckle, I'm not sure what this is, but it's kind of different, kind of neat. This metallic circle. And again, some cool coloring on that faded in. Then moving up to his torso, so he has some body armor here, pretty much from his nipples down. It's this gray padding on top of this brown vinylized type color. And the gray is a little bit offset than the rest of the gray on his costume. And then he has those straps on the side, very similar to his straps on his knee pad, kind of holding everything together. And again, they look fantastic. But moving up, so his shirt is also a little bit variation than his pants. It's not as textured, not as folded, but very similar, but a little bit of a variation. And then his bat symbol, a little bit different take. Not the exact bat that we traditionally see on Batman, but it looks really good. And then he has these giant shoulder pads that are held by the same straps that I'm in love with. I don't like the shape of these, but they look cool and they go really well with the statue. And looking at his arms here, you don't really see a lot of muscle definition because he's having so much armor, but it's that same padding and texturized suit that you see everywhere else. And then looking at his gloves here, really cool. A lot of different layering of colors and material, and a lot of detail with the straps they put onto this. And then his hands look fantastic, you know, clasped around the guns, pulling the triggers, good definition. Again, those gloves are sculpted and they look really good. I like the coloring they used on that. It's not the black you would traditionally assume, but you can't tell it's really different unless you look closely. And the guns, we talked about the hilt earlier, but the gun itself looks really good. A lot of detail in it. You can see the safety trigger, you can see the barrel. It's really well done. And then looking at his sword here, again, his glove looks fantastic around it. Very same design. The hilt of the sword looks really good. And for some reason, I swear to God, my kids wait until I'm filming something, then they start pounding a ball right above me. So I'm already losing it because I'm so tired. But anyway, back to the sword. I think they did an okay job on the sword. It could have been done better. It doesn't look bad by any means, but I don't think it matches how awesome the rest of the statue is. Kind of a picture of the blade here. And then last, his exclusive portrait. I think the cowl looks great. I like that they use some folds to kind of go with the definition of his menacing scowl. And you can see his ears sculpted behind it. And then his eyes, I love the red paint they used on it. Just makes him even more menacing. And then the skin tones just look absolutely perfect. They have that 5 o'clock shadow, both painted and sculpted in there. I love the different color they used on his lips And then a great definition on his teeth. Both the coloring and the sculpt looks really, really good. So I'm going to sum up. That's my review. Let me know what you thought of this piece. Let me know what other Prime 1/3 Batman pieces are the kind of the stars of your show. I'm kind of doing them all because they're fantastic, and I'm rushing now because I'm going to go kill whoever that is. They wait nothing for hours, and then the second I start doing this, they start bouncing the ball. So little glimpse of my personal life and my impatience with certain things. If you like this, please give me a like. Please let me know which Batman Prime 1 that you like, and please subscribe and hit that bell if you haven't. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.